I was lost in I lost track in the rounds.
This is Mike Tyson's reaction when Gervonta Davis lost his fight against Lamont Roach. Tank Davis fought Lamont Roach in a tough 12-round match on March 1st. Before the fight, Tank made a bold promise that he would dominate, but things did not go as planned. The fight was intense, with both fighters giving their best effort, but in the end, the judges called it a draw. Even though the fight was ruled a tie, many fans believe Tank actually lost. Roach put up a strong performance, landing solid punches and making it difficult for Tank to take control. People think the judges were too generous to Tank, and that Roach should have been declared the winner. If Roach had been given the victory, it would have been a big hit to Tank's record. A draw saved him from having a loss on his record, but it didn't change what fans saw in the ring. Tank's performance didn't live up to the hype, and his record wouldn't have looked as impressive if the fight had gone the other way. Mike Tyson is one of the people laughing at what happened. As a boxing legend, he was one of the best fighters during his time. He knows what it takes to back up big words in the ring. After watching the fight, Tyson said that Tank is a disgrace to boxing history. Tank couldn't deliver what he promised of knocking the hell out of Roach. Instead, he even had trouble matching his energy. Tyson, like many others, saw this and wasn't impressed. To be honest, Tank struggled to land the big punches he's known for. He usually throws powerful shots that can change a fight, but this time, they just weren't there. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't land the kind of hit that could turn the match in his favor. Roach was the one landing more punches. He stayed focused and didn't let Tank take control. Every time Tank tried to attack, Roach was ready with a strong counter, especially with his right hand. In fact, Tank took more punches in this fight than ever before in his career. Roach kept hitting him again and again. Roach clearly had a plan, and it worked. Meanwhile, Tank had no answer and couldn't do what he usually does in the ring. The fight was very close, with both fighters going back and forth. In 9 of the 12 rounds, there were only 3 or fewer punches separating them. The match was tight, and neither fighter had a huge advantage over the other. Roach was the busier fighter, throwing 121 more punches than Tank. He kept attacking, trying to land as many hits as possible. Even though he threw more, it didn't mean he always landed the better shots. Tank still found ways to connect with his own punches. Tank landed 6 more power punches than Roach. However, Roach landed 15 more jabs, which helped him stay active and control the fight at times. Knowing this, Tyson believes that Roach clearly won the fight. After watching the match, he felt that Roach did more to earn the victory. There was no doubt about who performed better in the ring. Tyson says that anyone who says Tank won must not know much about boxing. People who think Tank deserved the win are either not paying attention or just don't understand the sport. The fight showed who was really in control, and it wasn't Tank. The truth is, Roach should have been named the winner. He landed more punches, stayed active, and had a strong game plan. In an interview with Joe Rogan, Mike Tyson didn't hold back his thoughts on the fight. He found the match laughable, but even more ridiculous was Tank Davis's performance, which he called dull and uninspiring. Tyson said that even rookie boxers put on more exciting fights than what Tank showed against Roach. This was the boxing legend's unfiltered reaction to Tank Davis.
He probably hearing this night, I'm gonna get that bastard, Tyson.
So you gave it to... A controversial moment unfolded in round 9, when Davis took a jab and then voluntarily dropped to one knee before heading to his corner to have grease wiped from his eye. If the referee had ruled it a knockdown, the outcome could have been different. 2 of the judges' scorecards would have shifted in Roach's favor, potentially securing him the win.
Uppercut coming back from Tank.
When asked about this, he had this to say. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in my shit. So, the grease, when you sweat, it was coming into my face," explained Tank. "I think I pulled it out in the last 3 rounds for sure. I was catching him with some clean shots. I feel I was breaking him down as the rounds were going on, but he kept coming, so I didn't want to make mistakes, and I kept it cautious." But To Mike Tyson, it was nothing more than a weak excuse for a poor performance. In his eyes, Tank was clearly hurt, which is why he had to take a knee. If Tank claims it was just for show, then why hasn't he done this in his past fights? He never pulled a stunt like this against big names like Ryan Garcia or Frank Martin. So why, of all fights, did he suddenly do it against Roach? Again, Tyson isn't buying it. If he were the judge, the fight wouldn't have ended in a draw. It would have rightfully gone to Roach. But Tyson suspects that someone behind the scenes made sure it stayed a draw. Giving Tank the win would have been too blatant, considering how poorly he performed. Instead, they settled on a draw to protect his record. After all, they couldn't let a rising fighter like Roach take the spotlight, especially not at Tank's expense. In the fight, Roach finished strong in the final round, outlanding Davis 16-9. Despite his efforts, the judges' scores told a different story. One had it 115-113 for Davis, while the other two scored it an identical 114-114, resulting in a controversial draw. Asked why the fight was so competitive, Tank explained, "I made it competitive, to be honest. For sure, Lamont is a great fighter. He got the skills, like I said before, and the punching power. It was a lesson learned. Shout out to Lamont Roach and his whole team. Hopefully we can run it back in New York. If not, all the best to Lamont Roach and his whole team."
I was lost in I lost track in the rounds.
Tank admitted he was disappointed with the outcome of the fight. Of course, he wasn't the only one. While Floyd Mayweather simply laughed it off, even Tank's former trainer, Calvin Ford, expressed his disappointment. Ford pointed out that Tank's performance wasn't as sharp as it was when he was the one guiding him. To his credit, Tank was humble enough to acknowledge this during the post-fight interview.
I could have definitely did more.
Lamont Roach was frustrated with the result. He was confident he had done enough to win, yet the judges still ruled it a draw. A victory would have made him the first rising fighter to put a blemish on Tank Davis's undefeated record. But in the end, whether it was his performance or the judge's decision that failed him, he walked away without the win he believed he deserved. "I'm a little disappointed in the decision," said Roach after the fight. "I thought I pulled it out. That's what two skilled fighters do. Go in there and show off their crafts. I definitely thought I won, but we can run it back." The fight between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach has sparked controversy, with many believing Roach should have been declared the winner instead of it ending in a draw. But what do you think? Do you agree with the decision, or do you believe Roach was robbed of victory? Share your thoughts in the comments below.